Hey everyone, welcome back to Jaipur Code Crafters. In this video, we are doing a quick revision for IGCSE Computer Science Paper 2 and the algorithm and algorithm focused paper. I'll be sharing essential tips, common question patterns, and quick solving techniques. And I'll guide you on how to tackle the 15 marker pseudocode based questions effectively. My key tip for this paper is that you should aim to complete it in 1 hour 15 minutes, uh, reserving the last 30 minutes for the 15 mark pseudocode paper. This way you will have enough time to plan, structure, and review your solution carefully. So let's start. Children, you can see this is the syllabus, and this syllabus is freely available on internet. You can just search Cambridge IGCSE Computer Science 0478 syllabus, and you can find this PDF. It's freely available everywhere. So your paper 2 will be on on 21st of May, if I'm not wrong. This paper duration will be of 1 hour 45 minutes and the maximum mark 75. It consists of short answer and structured question based on topics 7 to 10. So I'm showing you this, what is this 7 to 10. So these are the chapter. Chapter 7, algorithm design and problem solving, programming, database, and Boolean logic. In this video, we are basically focusing on the programming part, the pseudocode part. And in this part, I will cover, like in this video, I will cover function, procedure, string, random, round, div, mod, local and global variables, small topics of this paper. And in next video, I will cover 15 marker pseudocode. So let's start this. But before writing or before understanding this pseudocode and everything, you should know, because you all know it's just a revision class. I'm not going to teach you how to write a pseudocode. I will not teach you how this if else will work. I'm going to quickly cover all the topics so that you can recall whatever you learned in these last 2 years. You can quickly recall them now. So the question require candidates to have practical programming experience. Knowledge of programming language syntax is not examined. In all the cases, the logic is more important. So if somewhere you are writing wrong logic in Java and Python, you don't need to worry about. You should try to write better program, but main concern must be on logic. Your logic must be efficient and correct. All questions will be compulsory and you will write answers in the paper only. Calculators are not at all allowed. Final question will be of 15 mark. Candidates will be required to write an algorithm using code, pseudocode. Pseudocode means algorithm in plain text or program code. So you can choose any programming language, maybe Java, maybe Python. It is expected that candidates should spend 30 minutes answering this question. So you should attempt this question at the end. You can check clock that once you have 30 minutes left, you will start writing, you will start solving this, and I will give you tips for that. Now, next thing that you should keep in your mind, these are the flowchart symbol. You should know the meaning of each and every one. Other symbols are very easy for you. Just recall this symbol. Whenever you want to call any procedure, whenever you want to call any function, you will write this call inside this box. So this subroutine means you are calling some other function. Other are simple. Flowchart is actually a diagrammatic representation of an algorithm. So you will learn how to trace flowchart, how to draw flowchart as well. Now, for pseudocode, you have to keep few things in your mind. First thing is that spaces. So whenever you are writing any control statement, whether it's a conditional statement, conditional statement, conditional statements are also known as selection statements. Selection statements. And in your syllabus, you have two type of conditional statement: if, then, else, and if, and case of otherwise. Okay. And loops, iterative statements, repetitive statement, you have three: for loop, while loop, and repeat until. But you will not write it like this way. You will follow the syntax. You will write all the keywords in capital letter, and you will write all the identifiers whenever you want to write, whenever you want to give name of any variable. It can be in a small case, but it will start with a capital letter. So you have to be particular about this. You should know indentation while writing pseudocode. Lines are indented by 4 spaces to indicate that they are contained within the statement in previous line. Where it is not possible to fit a statement on one line, any continuation lines are indented by 2 spaces from the margin. In cases where line numbering is used, this indentation may be omitted. Every effort will make sure that code statements are no longer than a line of code unless this is necessary. Keywords must be in capital letter. So if you are using for, to, next, use capital. You are using while, write in capital, because while has a specific meaning. For has a specific meaning. Repeat word has a specific meaning here. If, case, otherwise. So all these words have a specific meaning, so they must be in capital letter. Now you can see repeat is a looping statement. Whatever statement you are writing, you are leaving 4 character space here, indentation. So you have to be very particular while writing any pseudocode in your paper. Whenever you are writing any loop, you have to give, in the body statement, you have to give 4 letter space. Now comments. Comments are very important, especially for 15 marker question. Wherever you are declaring any variable locally for your logic purpose, and you should write why you are using this variable, what it will hold, and wherever you are writing logic, you have to explain what is happening here. For example, temp equal to x. So you are assigning this x value to temp variable. So we are just writing comment temporarily store x. So this procedure swaps value of x and y. So before writing any procedure, we are just writing comment. We are just writing in a very brief manner. We are just explaining what is happening in this code. That's it. So comments are important, very important for pseudocode. Again, my another tip for 15 marker pseudocode, I'll prefer that you should write pseudocode, because in pseudocode there is no very strict checking. They can ignore your syntaxes and all. So you should write pseudocode. Integer, these are the data type. If you want to store whole number, integer in capital letter. Real is used to hold number having decimal point or any fractional part. Char is used to hold single character variable in single quote. String is a sequence of letters or is a sequence of characters. Maybe inside it we have digits, special letter, but enclosed in double quotes. Boolean is a data type which will store only true and false. And whenever you will write true and false, it must be in capital letter. Identifier. So identifier means the names given by the developer. Whenever you are writing any pseudocode, any algorithm, maybe you will create some variable, maybe you will create some procedure, and the names of those procedure and variables and arrays will be decided by you. So whenever you are giving any name, your name must be in mixed case. The first letter must be in capital, and if it's a combination of 2 words, the adjoining word again must start with a capital letter. Accented letters and other character, including underscore, should not be used. So you should not use like this way. If you are creating variable, let's say in pseudocode format, I am declaring variable, declare my address. So I'm just creating variable my underscore address, then semicolon string. So here I'm writing string, which is correct because it is in capital letter. But declare is also correct. It is in capital letter. I'm just declaring that in future I will use this variable to hold some kind of string. But this format is not correct for IGCSE. You should not write underscore here. You can write like this way, am capital, then address A capital. So this should be the variable. So please follow this in your exam. Now, variable declaration, we already discussed. This is the syntax. Whenever you need any variable during writing the logic of any problem, you will declare like this way. This is the syntax. You have to learn it. Identifiers are the words given by the developer of the code, and we discuss the rule also. It can be followed. It will start with a letter, but alphabet, but it can be followed by digit. If you want to create any constant, for example, if problem is there, you have to write an algorithm for like find the area of circle. So in area of circle, pi is a universal constant. So let's say you want to declare it as a constant. So constant, you will write constant in capital letter, then pi, and then 3.14. Now what happened? Pi is a variable, but the constraint is that during the execution of this code, during writing logic, you cannot update the value of pi. Why? Because it's not a normal variable; it is a constant. Okay, and it is final. It is not. You cannot modify it further. So this is the way of creating constant. You have to learn it. Constant in capital letter. Assignment, if you want to assign any value to variable, you will use an arrow sign. I will come to arrays, but before this, I will start procedure and function. So I will start this video by explaining procedure and functions in pseudocode plus in Java also. And I will try to explain it through Python also, because maybe in a small question, not in a 15 marker, in 15 marker question, IGCSE will give you choice. Either you will write the pseudocode or you can write any code in any programming language. But we should know how to write functions procedure in any programming language. So here I will teach you through both ways, in Java and in Python and in pseudocode also. But before this, just quickly check small syntaxes, how to take input from the user. So input is a keyword in capital letter and then variable. So for example, if you are declaring any variable, declare, let's say num of type integer. Like if you want to compare this statement with the programming, this means declaring variable means we are declaring memory, and in memory we can store some value of type integer in this variable num. So what is actually variable? Again and again I'm using this term variable. Variable is a placeholder inside a physical memory, inside a memory, or we can say variable is a named memory location. Your RAM is divided into small cells, and whenever you want to keep any data in the primary memory RAM, because if you want to give any task to your CPU, obviously CPU will ask you to provide some data. And how you will provide data? CPU will not communicate directly with the keyboard. Like if you are pressing 6 and CPU will directly take this value 6, then plus, then 2. No. First, you have to send this 6 number or any number to the primary memory. And then from primary memory, CPU will take this data. And RAM is divided into small cells. So whenever you want to store data in RAM, you have to create a variable. So variable definition is, it's a named memory location, or we can say it's a placeholder. It's a placeholder in a physical memory. Physical memory means primary memory and this RAM. So whenever you are creating variable num is created somewhere here, anywhere. So num is created here and it is declared. It is declared right now. It is not containing any value, but in future we can assign some value in it. If you want to assign value to any variable, you will use arrow sign. Arrow sign is a assignment operator here, 20. So 20 is here. Okay. So this is the concept of declaring. And if you want to take input from the user, you don't want to assign the value instead of this. Whenever you are running any program and during the execution, you just want to take value from the user. In that case, you will use term input num. So this means input means at the runtime, whenever you will convert this algorithm into any programming language, Java, Python code, or any C, C++ code, whenever you will convert this instruction into any programming language, this means at the runtime, at the time of execution, user will take the value from the keyboard and this value will store in a variable num. This is the meaning. If you want to print something, whenever you will write any logic, you will calculate something, or you have some kind of outcome of your program. So if you want to show this outcome on the screen, the keyword is output. So you will write output and then you will write num. So this means you are printing the value of this num on the output screen. These are the arithmetic operators. You are aware about these arithmetic operators. These are used to perform any mathematical calculation. Division is okay. This is raise the power. If you are writing 2 raise 3, the answer will be 8. If you are writing, let's say 7/2, then the answer is 3.5. Like this slash means it will divide the number completely. If you want to find integer quotient and the remainder part, then we have in your IGCSE, we have 2 operators in pseudocode. If you are writing div num comma 2, and if you are writing mod num comma 2, and let's say the value of num is 6. So this means you are dividing 6 by 2 and the quotient is 3. If you are dividing 6 by 2, the remainder is 0. So mod is always used to give remainder and div is always used to give integer quotient. So you can see div 10 comma 3. So whenever you are dividing 10 by 3, 9 comes 3 times and the remainder is 1. That's why div bracket 10 comma 3 is returning 3. 3 means this is the integer quotient. And whenever it is not further divisible, we will leave this division, and whatever remainder is coming, this mod operator will give you that answer. This is 1. These are logical operators. Logical operators always return either true and false. This is equality check operator. So if you just want to check left side is equal to right side or not, you will just write equal to sign. Like if num1 or num is a variable. If num equal to 2, then or let me write some logical program. If mod num comma 2 equal to 0, then output num is even, else output num is odd, and then end it. Now notice this. If is a keyword, I am writing in a capital letter. Mod is used to return the remainder. So if your number is divisible by 2, this means this entire place will be replaced by either 0 or 1. If it is equal to 0, now you can see this then is actually part of if. I am leaving 2 spaces here, indentation of 2 space, because then is actually a part of if. but I'm starting this output line after giving 4 spaces. From this, I'm checking the level of if statement, and I'm giving 4 letter space for indentation. So output num. While printing something, if you are writing any variable without quote, the value of the variable will be printed, and whatever you are writing in double quotes, it will print as it is. So if, let's say, if the value of num is 21, then is this 21 divided by 2 is 0? No, it is not. That's why answer is 21 is odd. So this is the case. And if you want to check lesser than, this is the symbol, less equal to, greater, greater equal to, you should not write in your exam like this way. Okay, maybe they will deduct marks, because this is the way, like this operator we are using in maths, but not here in IGCSE pseudocode writing. If you want to check not equal to, so not equal to, this is the symbol. If A is not equal to B, then we will do something, otherwise some other code. So you have arithmetic operators. How many arithmetic operators you have in IGCSE? 5. Okay, so just cross check. How many logical operator? Not 5, in fact. These mod and div are also here. Now, logical operator, you have 6 logical operators. Boolean operator, you have 3 Boolean operators, and or not. All these 3 operators will result either true or false, and will give you true if both of the criteria, if both the inputs of and are true. Otherwise, in all cases, it will give you false. Or operator will give you true if either of the criteria is true, and not will reverse the input. If you are applying not in front of true, then this entire statement become false, and vice versa. So by this example, we can see if answer lesser than 0 or answer greater than 100, then correct value is false, correct value is true. So let's say the value of answer is 200, let's say. So is this 200 lesser than 0? No, it is not. Or is this 200 greater than 100? Yes. If either of the criteria is true, this means this statement will be executed and the value of correct is false. Now, these are the string function. We will discuss it later. Round and random, we will discuss in the same video. If statement, so I'm not explaining them in detail. Once I will explain you functions, we will cover this topic. Now, for your exam, it is important to know the definition of procedure, function, why we are using them, how they are different, and what are the benefits. So procedures are set of statements that perform a specific task. In fact, procedure, function, methods, they are basically developed to write code for any specific functionality. And in a one program, in a one algorithm, you can have multiple procedures or functions. Like if you have a complex problem, so this complex problem can be solved by creating multiple functions or procedures. The only difference between procedure and function is that procedure will never return any value. Do not return a value, whereas function return a value. They always return a value. And usage. So how they are different, like why we are returning value sometime, why we are not returning value. So procedure are usually used to perform actions where we are just printing, we are calculating something, we are performing some task, and we are printing at the same time. Or maybe we are updating some record. So in the procedure, you are updating something and this task is finished over there, and no one wants this calculation for any further use. So for this purpose. But function always returns some value, and this value can be used in further calculations. Okay, so we can pass this return value, and we can use this return value to pass this value as a parameter to other functions. Now, other important thing is you should know the syntax. In IGCSE, there is a specific syntax of writing procedure and of writing functions. You have to learn the syntax. You will write procedure, identifier. Identifier means user defined word. You will decide what will be the name of this procedure. Whenever you will write any code inside the body of this procedure, after writing everything, once you will finish the code, you will write end procedure in capital letter without any space. You have to be very particular about giving space, indentation. And if the procedure is accepting something as a parameter, then the syntax is this one. You will write procedure in capital letter. Identifier means the name of that procedure. In bracket, parameter 1 colon data type, comma, parameter 2 colon data type. Usually in IGCSE, they can give you any procedure that can have up to 2 parameters. They will not give you any question where they're asking that you have to pass 3 or more. No, up to 2 parameters are there. And what are these parameters? This is the parameter list. Inside this bracket, it is a parameter list. Parameter list is always act as an input for a method. These are acting as an input for the procedure. So these parameter will have some values. You can use these parameter variables inside the code and you can perform some, you can execute some logic. So identifier, okay. If you want to execute this procedure, if you are converting this procedure into any programming language, they cannot execute on their own. Nothing will happen unless you will call them. So what is the syntax of calling the procedure? You will write CALL in capital letters and the identifier. Identifier means the name of that procedure that you want to call. And if the procedure have some parameter, you will pass it like this way. So I'm writing the Java version of this. Procedure, function, practice. So I'm showing you the procedure. So you can see whenever you are writing any Java program is always inside a class. So this is the class which is not in your syllabus. This is the main method. And whenever we will run any program, execution starts from main and execution ends from this closing bracket. So if you want to create any procedure, because this public static void main is itself a procedure, inbuilt procedure. Now I'm writing another procedure, public static void. If you are writing procedure, the return type is always void. And then let's say the method procedure name is getSum. In this, I'm passing 2 parameters. So let's say integer num1, comma, int num2. Then curly bracket start, curly bracket close. Then inside this int sum equal to num1 plus num2. And I will print this sum here only. Now you can see this procedure is done. Whenever I'm running this program, build successful means there is no error in this program. Still, it is not giving any output. Because I told you procedure, if you are writing code, you are printing something inside a code, nothing will happen unless you will call the procedure. So if you want to call a procedure, you will just write getSum and you are passing some values. Maybe you can pass values like this way. A equal to 10, B equal to 90. And then you are calling method getSum A, comma, B. Now you can see sum equal to 145, sum equal to 100. Why 2 times it is giving output? Because 2 times you are calling the same procedure. So this, they can ask you what are the advantages of function and procedure. So this is the main advantage, and the reusability. Reusability is the main advantage. You will write the procedure only once, but you can call it multiple times for different inputs. For example, you are using your calculator. In the calculator device, there is an inbuilt software. Someone wrote the code only once. But if you are typing 2 plus 3, it will give you 5. Next time you are typing 1 plus 1, it will give you 2. This means for every different input, we are using same logic. So this is the code. In your exam, in case, although there are very less chances that they will ask you in your chosen programming language, write the function or procedure. Usually it will come in pseudocode format. But in case, you should know this. You must have a knowledge of how to write a function in Java and Python. So whenever they will ask you in your chosen programming language, write a procedure with name getSum having 2 parameters of integer type, and this procedure will add these 2 values. So what you will do? You will not write public static in your exam. I'm using public static here for some other technical reasons to run this code, but in your exam, you will not read this. I'm not going to explain this because it is not in your syllabus. So let's not increase the complexity of this class. So you will not write this thing. What you need to know, this void is a return type. And if the return type is void, it means nothing. This method will not return anything. This method returns nothing. GetSum is the identifier. Identifier means user developer words given by developer. So as a developer of this code, I just decided, okay, let's give name GetSum. In the bracket, whatever you are passing, this list is known as parameter list. This is parameter list. In Java, you will write data type first, and then variable, and then comma, data type variable, something like this. These parameters act as an input for this method. This means you don't need to take value of num1 and num2 again inside the procedure. You don't need to assign any value because value is coming. Whenever I'm running this project, execution starts from here. The very first step is method call. I'm calling this method. Once your compiler calling this getSum method, where we will land to the method definition. This is the second step. And once the name is matched, getSum, the 67 will assign to num1, the 78 will assign to num2, and on these 2 values, some addition is happening, and this result will store in variable sum. So 67 plus 78 is 145. So that's why the value of sum is 145. And if you want to print them, output them, then the syntax is system.out.println. Double quotes means whatever you will provide in double quote, the value will be printed as it is. And whatever you are providing without quotes, the value of that variable will be printed. So that's why 145 is here. Okay, now I am converting the same thing into pseudocode. The pseudocode version of this is, you will write call getSum bracket 67, 78, and the pseudocode version of this procedure, you will write procedure. Why it is procedure here in Java? Because the return type is void. This procedure is not returning anything. Procedure getSum bracket num1 colon integer comma num2 colon integer. You should write it in a single line, integer. Then inside this sum, because I'm declaring sum at the same time, int sum, we are actually declaring it. So you can also use declare word, but for now I'm just writing the logic. I told you IGCSE will focus on logic only. if like you forgot to declare sum and all, it's okay. Sum equal to num1 plus num2. System.out.println means output. Output, then double quotes, sum is equal to comma sum. So you can see here we are using plus sign so that we can concatenate the variable with the message. But in the pseudocode, we are using comma and then and procedure. And procedure. And this is important. So you should know how to call any procedure. You should know how to write any procedure. And you should know the equivalent programming code as well. And if in exam they will ask you, write this, you will not write this part. You will just write void method procedure name, then bracket like this way. I am writing another procedure, but without any parameter because parameter list is optional. So if someone will ask you define procedure, you will say procedure is a code for any specific functionality which will not return any value. If someone will ask you define parameter, so parameters are the variables passed to any procedure and function. These variables act as an input for a method. But I'm using method word all the time because in Java and Python, in Java, Python, C#, C++, usually we call, there's a common term method. But here in IGCSE, they are using two terms, procedure and function. Procedure, which is returning something, function, procedure, which is not returning anything, function, which always returns something. So if I'm writing public static void display. So display is the method and I'm not passing bracket, I'm giving brackets, but I'm not passing any parameter inside this. And we are just printing in procedure display. And then let's call this method. So I'm calling this procedure. And so you can see output is in procedure display. So you can see this is the usage of procedure. Now, if you want to write function, I'm converting this get sum into function. Function always returns something. So you can see I'm writing int. And then I'm using return statement at end, return sum, semicolon. Now the calling part will be changed. Now it is not a procedure. Now it is function. This part is function. Why it is function? Because there is a return statement at the end of the body. It always returns something and this is the return type. So in your syllabus, what function can return? Your function can return something of type integer, something of type float, something of type double, something of type string, something of type string, something of type boolean. So in Java, this boolean is a small case. So int means the integer number. Float can store any number having decimal point, but the limit is that it can store small number with a small precision. Means total 7 digit, number having total 7 digits. Double can also use to store numbers having decimal point, having fractional part, but it can store number with big precision, like total 15 digit number having 15 digits, up to 15 digits. A string, it's a sequence of character. Boolean, it's just a true or false. There is another variable char. So char will return something of single character enclosed in single quotes. So this time I'm taking return type int. Same theory, you are calling this method. So first step is, once we are executing this method, the very first step is we are calling. This is function call. This is function call. And once we are calling any function, we will land to the function definition. Whatever parameter you are providing, just ignore this gray part, num1 colon. You will not write it in your exam. It is actually, this thing is coming automatically here because of this version of NetBeans. You are passing only two simple values, any numbers. These numbers will be copied here, 67 and 78. We are performing some calculation here. Whatever answer is coming 145. So you can see, first step is method call. Second step is method definition. Now, the third step is we are returning back. This is the third step. We are returning back to the calling point, and this entire calling point will replace by the returned value. So you have to be very particular whenever you are calling any function. You have to ensure this function call will replace by some value, the value which will be returned by the function. And that's why you are putting this function call inside a system.out.println. So whenever this place is replaced by 145, the program will print this value, sum equal to. Another way of calling function, you are calling this function, and because it's a function, it will definitely return something, 10 plus 90. So this time you are calling this method. A means 10, B means 90, sum equal to num1 plus num2, so 100 is coming. Whenever we are returning back, so whenever we will return back to the calling point, we are not empty-handed. 100, this place, this entire function call place will replace by 100, and we are storing this 100 inside the variable result, and then result will be printed, result equal to 100. So if I'm going to run this, you can see again it's printing same, sum equal to, result equal to. Why? Because when function returns something, the method call will hold this value. If you want to write the pseudocode version of the same thing, what you will write? You will write function. I'm writing this, the pseudocode version of function. What is the name of function? Get sum. In the bracket, what parameter we are passing? We are passing num1 of type integer, num2 of type integer, then colon. Because function always returns something, so we have to write returns. Returns. And what kind of thing it is returning? Int. Int means integer. So returns integers, integer, and then the simple thing, sum equal to, sum arrow, num1 plus num2, and then return. Return in capital letter because it's a keyword in Pseudocode. So return sum, and then and function without any space. If you want to call, because in exam they can ask you, write a statement to call this function. So how you will call it? Either create any variable, result or something, then call the function. There is no call keyword in for calling any function. You will create some variable, and then you are calling this function get sum directly without using call. Let's say 2, 3, and that's it. And then you can output the result, output result. So this is the way of calling function in pseudocode. This is the pseudocode version. I hope it's clear. So you can see, if you are calling any procedure, you will use call. And if you are writing any function, you can see, okay, one important thing. I did one mistake here in syntax only, not in logic. I'm writing colon here, but colon will not come. Okay, so this is the syntax. Function, function name, bracket, parameter, colon, data type, comma, parameter 2, colon, data type. You will not write a, comma, b, colon, integer. No. Whatever number of variable you are using, if even if they have the same type. For example, A, if it is, let's say, real means real data type in pseudocode means having fractional part. Let's say A and B, both are real numbers. Then also you will write real 2 times. It is important. Then you will write returns and then data type, like what kind of data this function is returning. And the keyword return in capital letter is used as one of the statements within the body of the function to specify the value to be returned. Normally, it is the last statement. Because a function return a value that is used when the function is called, function calls are not complete program statement. The keyword call should not be used when calling a function. Function should only be a part of an expression. Okay, so I've already explained this. Now look at this example. Whenever you will convert this thing in a programming code, this will not execute, this will not execute. Program always start execution always start from main. So this is the main point. So this is the first step. If my size equal to default, so let's say my size equal to default, call CALL default line. So you can see this is procedure. Why it is procedure? Because you are using CALL word. You are calling procedure. Once you will call procedure, this was the second step. You will lend to the procedure. This is the third step. Inside this, you are calling another procedure. This is the fourth step, line. And fifth step is you are calling this procedure line and you are passing 60 here. Then you are declaring length inside this. Then you are running one loop, length from 1 to size means 1 to 60. And this means 60 times you are printing underscore, means you are actually creating line with 60 size, 60 pixel or something. And that's it. This is happening. Once add procedure will come. And procedure means go back to the calling point, means this is the sixth step. So once AND procedure will come, you will go to the calling point without any value. This AND procedure means you will come back to the calling point and then here program ends. And let's see what is the example, what example IGCSE is giving you for the function. Function sum square. Number 1 is the first parameter of type integer. Number 2 is the second parameter of type integer. This method will return something of type integer. What it is returning? Number 1 into number 1 plus number 2 into number 2. So some calculation will happen and whenever it will return something, and okay, let's execute it from here. Output sum of square equal to sum square. You are calling this method. This is the first step. You are here. This place will replace by 10 and this place will replace by 20. Now 10 into 10 is 100 plus 20 into 20, 400. So basically 500. This will give you 500. And function means go back to the calling point and this entire calling place will be replaced by 500 and the final output is sum of square equal to 500. So whenever you will call any function, you will call either inside a output statement or you can call like this way also. X is equal to sum square 10, 20 and then you can output X. It is also valid. Now you can see this is the corresponding code of function and procedure in Python. So in Python, function or procedure, they start with a keyword def. Def means define, short form of define. Getsum is the name of the function. We are passing 2 parameters. There is no need to type data type here. You are just passing the variable. These parameters will act as an input for the function. Colon is the syntax. So you can see def, then identifier, then in bracket, you are passing some variable 1, comma variable 2, colon. And then here you are writing Python code, that's it. Returning A plus B. So whenever we will call, if you will run this program, this will not execute, this will not execute. Execution will not start from the first line. Execution will start from here. This is the main program. So because you can see the indentation. So result equal to get sum. So you can see this is function call. This is the function call. Once you will call the function, this is the first step. Second step is we will land here, and this A will be replaced by 10 and B will be replaced by 20. Then 10 plus 20, 30 is happening here. Like we are calculating 20 plus 30. Return. Return means go back to the calling point, and this entire method call syntax will be replaced by 30, and we are storing this 30 in this variable result. So that's why sum equal to this result will be printed 30. Next time you are calling another function, but this is not returning anything. This means this thing is actually a procedure. Function without return means it is procedure. It is procedure. Whatever you will do, you will print inside the procedure only. So once you are calling get square, you are passing value, actual parameter 5. We will land to this place. This num will be replaced by 5. 5 double star 2 in Python, this double star is actually raised to power. So 5 raised to power 2. 5 into 5, 25. Then you are trying to print this result, 25. So F means format. Double quotes, whatever is inside a double quotes, it will print as it is. The square of, and whatever variable you are putting in a curly bracket, the value of that variable will be printed. So the square of 5 is, again, these is curly bracket 25. So if I'm going to run this program, so you can see sum equal to 30 and square equal to 5. Square of 5 is 25. Why? Because of this. We are here, 5 into 5, 25. The square of 5 is 25. And when you are calling this function, so this is the Python version of function and procedure. In next video, I will cover string, random, round, and file handling. But in this video, we covered only function and procedure. But in string handling, you have only these method, length. You should know how to find length of any string. String is a sequence of character. You should know how to extract some part from the given string. Substring is the operation for this. You should know how to convert a string into uppercase. You should know how to convert a string into lowercase. The first character of this string can be position 0 or 1 in pseudocode case. So in pseudocode, it can be like it can start from 1, but in programming, so quickly I'm showing you programming. So you can see I'm creating one variable str, Java programming is there. If you want to find what is the length, you will just, with the help of this variable, you are calling length function and length will be printed. If you want to convert this entire string into lowercase, the method name is toLowercase, but you will call this function toLowercase with the help of str. Then toUppercase, so you just need to learn the name, the corresponding name, how to convert it into lowercase, how to convert it into uppercase. There are two versions of extracting some part from any given string. If you are calling substring method and you are passing, just ignore this gray color value. If you are just passing 5, so in Java or in Python, a string always starts from index 0, but in pseudocode, you can start it with 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Space is at the index of space is 4. Space is counted 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So your fifth index is for letter P. So if you are passing only one parameter in a substring method, this means the substring will start from the fifth index till the last character. So in this case, the answer should be programming. So we are fetching this word in this case. But if you want to extract a specific part from a string, you are passing two things, and this 11 is excluded. Like this is the start index 5 and the last index is 10. So if you are passing second parameter 11, substring will stop at 10. If you are passing second parameter is 12, string will stop at 11. So 5 to 10. Now let's see, this is 5, this is 6, this is 7, this is 8, 9, 10. So PROGRA should be the output. Now let's see. So you can see this is the working. You just need to learn the Java version of finding length, the Java version of 2 lowercase, 2 uppercase, and the substring. This is the Python version. Python syntax wise, it is easy. This is the string, Java programming. Length, if you want to find length of any string, in Python, len is the function. So you are just writing len, and whatever variable you have that is string, this is. So what it will return? It should return 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 is the length. If you want to convert this as string into lowercase, just a lower method. But every time you will call the method with the help of that variable, that is string object. So str.lower, str.upper. If you want to extract some part from the given string from any specific index, you are passing that index. So this is your string str. This is your start index from where you want to fetch the substring. Then you will just write colon and leave it. So this means starting from this index till last character, it will print everything. If you are writing, it is not known as slicing. If you are writing 5 colon 11, then again from 5th index to 10th index to 10th index, because this 11 is excluded here. If I'm going to run it, so I'm running this Python code. So you can see length is 60, lowercase, uppercase, substring is programming because it's starting from index 5 and 5 to 10 program. This is the pseudocode version. This is the pseudocode version of handling string. Length in capital letter, and in bracket you will pass the variable. So for example, you have one variable str, and inside this hello is there. And if you are writing length and in bracket you are providing str, so this means this entire place will replace by 5 because the length of hello is 5. So if you are writing x equal to length bracket str, means this is 5, the value of x is 5. So we can print 5. We can print x to show the length, or you can directly print this length. You can directly print this length like this way. If you want to convert it into lowercase, the syntax is alcase. So you have to be very particular about the words we are using to convert a string into lowercase, into uppercase. If they are asking in the exam that you have to write a pseudocode to convert the string into lowercase, you will not write lower, you will not write two lowercase, you will just write alcase because this is the syntax provided by IGCSE. So you will write alcase and then bracket str. So if you are calling this alcase method directly in output, so this string will be converted into lowercase and we are printing it. For uppercase, ucase. Substring, this is the format. We are passing the string variable here, string object here, start and length. This is little bit different than Python and Java. In Python and Java, we were providing second parameter, and that parameter was acting as an index. But here we are starting, this is a starting index, and this is the number of letters that you want to fetch. So you have to memorize all these syntax: length, happy days. So space are always counted. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, space 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you have 10 characters in this string. So that's why length is giving you 10. Al case, whatever you are providing, it will convert it into smaller case, U case, uppercase, substring. Now look at the substring. You are starting from 1 because in pseudocode, string can start from 1 also. Okay, it starts from index 1. So this is index 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. And how many characters you are fetching? Total 5. That's why answer. So this second parameter is actually total number of characters that you want to fetch. Total number of characters. This is the starting index. But in any programming language, index always starts from 0. But in pseudocode, it can start from 1. This is the difference. Let me cover, because I have time. So let me cover round also. Let me quickly teach you round. You have to learn the syntax of round. You should know theoretically what this round function do. It return the value of the identifier rounded to places number of decimal places. So if you are writing round, you are just writing 2.63, let's say. We are not providing any places, so this answer will be 3 because we are rounding this number to the next possible whole number. So it is 3. But if you will write round 2.15, then it will round it to 2. You can see these are few more examples. You are using round, but you will write round in capital letter. 5.6789, comma 2. So you have to round this. This function will round it to 2 decimal places. So 67 you are taking 5.67. So but whether this digit will be rounded or not, it depends on the next one, because the next digit is greater than 5. If it is greater equal to 5, we will move to the next value. So that's why 5.68 is the answer. Okay. Okay. Just now look at this. You are writing 3.145, comma 1. You want to round it to the 1 place. But this means 3.1. But whether this 1 will be changed or not, it depends on the next one, because the next digit is 4, which is lesser than 5. That's why we are just showing 3.1. But if you are writing round 3.1667, comma 1, in that case, the answer will be 3.2. Why? Because this value is greater or equal to 5. That's why. If you want to round to 0 places, 7.56, it will just convert it into the next integer 8. So if in pseudocode you are writing round 7.56, the answer will be 8. But if you are writing round 6.112, then answer is still 6, because this value is actually lesser than 5. That's why. Now there is another function which is in your syllabus, random. Random function will always return any number between 0 and 1 inclusive. Means it can return 0, any random number. It can return 0.2, it can return 0.6, it can return 0.8, it can return 1.0, any number between 0 and 1. Now, if you want to return a random whole number, from 0, between 0 and 6, this is the formula. Random into 6 is the limit, into 6, comma 0. So let's say the random is returning, let's say 0.2. So 0.2 into 6 is 1.2. 1.2 comma 0, and you are putting it in round. So it will generate 1. So 1 lie between 0 and 6. Let's say it is generating 0.8. So 0.8 into 6 is 4.8. 4.8, then whenever you are putting it inside a round and like comma 0, then answer is 5, because 4.8 will round it to the next value, next integer. So 5 is the answer. So you can see in all the cases, whenever this will generate any number, 0.1, 0.2, or any number, and you are multiplying it by 6, then and then you are rounding it to the next integer, it will generate number between 0 and 6 only. So let's say you want to generate any random whole number from 10 to 15. So what is the formula? You can see random will generate any number from 0.0 to 1.0. So let's say this is generating 0.2. When you are finding the scale, so what is your boundary? 10 to 50. So 15 minus 10 is 5. You are multiplying it with this value, so it will give you 1.0. So this entire place will be replaced by 1.0. Then you are adding 10 into this, so this is 11.0. So 11 comma 0, and you are rounding it, answer is 11. Now I'm writing it for another example. Like let's say the random is generating any other number. Let's say random is generating 0.3. 0.3 into 15 minus 10 is 5 plus 10 comma 0, and I'm putting it in a round. So 5 3s are 50. So 1.5 plus 10 comma 0. So this is 11.5 comma 0. You are applying round function on it. The answer is 12. So you can see all the time it will print number from 10 to 15. And so this is the formula. If you want to generate any number in any range, you can use this formula. I'm changing it. For example, if you want to generate random number from let's say 10 to 20. So what you will write? You will just write 20 minus 10 here, then plus 10, because 10 is the starting point, and this is the formula that you can apply in your exam.